Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. We are in Pune today at the KPIT campus, nestled among the hills surrounding the city. Joining us today are the company's co-founders, Mr. Kishor Patil and Mr. Ravi Pandit. Gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to BQ Prime.
Welcome to KPIT.
So we are talking today about talk to these gentlemen about how the journey of the company has been since the demerger with Birlasoft 5 years ago. So, Mr. Pandit, we'll first start with you. So, how has the journey been so far? It has been about 5 years. Can you guide us through the highs and lows of this journey?
No, it has been an extremely wonderful and very fulfilling journey. As you know, before that, we were a generalist company. We were kind of me too. But post this merger and demerger, we are a highly specialized company, very highly regarded in our area. We are a go-to company, not a me too company anymore. And it has been extremely fulfilling. I think all this has resulted in good growth, top line, bottom line, good positioning amongst our clients, good value creation for all the shareholders. So, yeah, nothing to complain.
Okay. So, Mr. Patil, coming to you now, you were in existence for 27 years before the demerger happened. So, how were those 27 years and how have been these 5 years that have been since the demerger?
Absolutely. I think we started very early, and the key idea for that time, I may just go to be specific 20 years back, actually, that may be better. We made a decision to really focus on a certain vertical. We have been always, we were conscious of the fact that we have to focus on a niche market or a niche industry to be regarded as specialists. And that's when we started focusing more on manufacturing as an area. And we used to, that time we formed a partnership with Cummins. And for some time we were KPIT Cummins. And the idea there was really to naturally, for the manufacturing industry, whatever are the key technologies, both on the information IT side and I would say Autotech side, fulfill both these. And that's how we started. At the same time, when we were always looking at, as Mr. Pandit mentioned, is which is the area where we can really establish a niche globally and become the leader in that area. And even at that point of time, there was a report from McKinsey, and they said that ultimately, where automotive will become vehicle software on vehicles. And I think so we were slowly but surely investing into that area and waiting for the right time. Earlier, we were more focused on manufacturing, but more broader industry, broader segment, all the IT as well as the engineering part, and some other sectors which were adjacent to manufacturing. But as soon as we realized, due to multiple reasons, including the disruption with Tesla initiated, if I may say, and as electrification and autonomous created, we realized that this area is now very ripe for expertise as well as the scale which we can bring to our client. We decided to, really carve this out as a separate business and focus on that.
Okay. You partly answered my next question, that singular focus that you have on catering to the auto sector. Coming to you, Mr. Pandit, again, you have that singular focus on auto now, like what Mr. Patil mentioned. How do you see this industry evolving? I mean, if you say Tesla, that was 10 years ago. The next 10 years, how do you see for this particular sector working?
This is in our opinion, this is an extraordinary time for the automotive industry. Last time the auto industry changed so much was 100 years ago when Henry Ford came up with Model T. It changed the industry from meant for the ultra rich to meant for everyone. And that was a dramatic change. I think something similar is happening now. And it's driven by multiple factors. So we see that the industry is at a paradigm change. It's at an inflection point. It's driven by the software. This is also the first time when a company from India has the potential of being leaders. See, the last revolution in auto industry was the internal combustion engine. Okay, we also had the revolution of batteries coming in. I think as a country, we missed both those revolutions. But software is actually ours to catch because, Indians have developed expertise in software. So I think it's a case of the right opportunity coming together. It's once in a lifetime opportunity coming together, to an industry which is kind of mature, which is respected world over. So these are right times. We believe that the industry will change phenomenally in the next 2 decades or so. It will change in terms of the software driven part. It will also change in terms of its economics. It will change of it in terms of its basic business model. No more a car company will have a singular interaction with the customer when the car is sold.
What we are getting feelers that Tesla wants to move out eventually, or maybe in this particular decade till 2030, they want to move out of the manufacturing process. So the parts that they make, the battery that they make, and retain the software only to themselves. That's what we are getting the feelers that, okay, we'll build the software and then we'll outsource. It's like the iPhone model. So we have contract manufacturers for everything, but Apple has a very strong hold on the software. So it's, they call it the walled garden that iPhone calls it. So what kind, if such a thing happens, if I say it's the iPhoneification of the auto sector, if something of that sort happens, where do you see yourself in that case, both on a global landscape as well as an India picture?
See, it is clear that electronics and especially software are going to be the core of the automotive industry. Okay. If you look at the phases of the automotive industry, they have always gone through phases where they want to owe something to them and where they want to give something out. The desire of the auto industry to want to own the software is something that helps us a lot. Because, software is not one monolithic thing. There are components of that. And you need someone who will stitch them together. You need an integrator. The auto industry needs integrators badly. Actually, our position is actually that of the integrator. Because what we bring to the table are a lot of tools, platforms, accelerators, which help them do this, putting together well. See, the rate at which the industry is changing also means that there are different players coming into this industry and connecting with all of them is becoming important. To illustrate, if you look at what the auto industry has been doing over the last few years in terms of its connectivity with the semicon industry, joint developments, investments, etc., never heard before. They're working together with the hyperscalers like a Google, etc., etc. Never worked together before. All of these are coming in. Actually, that brings to us phenomenal potential for growth. Absolutely phenomenal.
That also means that the OEMs would also want some part of that business themselves. So say, for example, any auto manufacturer would say, okay, let's build the software in-house. So, I mean, that is also a challenge for you. You think that you can overcome those challenges? You're an integrator. So an OEM may want to fill that role themselves just to retain the software to them.
See the desire of the OEMs to do as much as they can has been all along with this industry. It has been always so. The issue is the work big enough for them to handle themselves? Would they look at partners who can bring more value to the table? If you look at our mission states that we want to know automotive better than any other IT company, and we want to know IT better than any auto OEM. That's what we bring to the table. We are not the least worried that at some point in time, the OEMs would like to take it all in. It is always a role to play. And it's not a static industry. It's a growing industry. A lot of new things are happening.
So maybe I
can add.
I may add a little bit here is the one big thing what is happening. I mean, this software ownership by OEM, it needs to be understood in the context. So right now, OEMs are their value is generated out of selling of cars, which will move towards selling of software, first software features, because they will update the features continuously and they will charge for those features, and then services based on the data they generate out of the connectivity. Now, the point is, so they want to really, idea to own the software is to bring new features at the earliest. That part they would like to keep. And there also, more and more, I believe, there will be open innovation. They would like partners who can innovate also. And so they would like to own it. That doesn't mean they want to develop it wholly by itself. That's the first part. But more importantly, in the whole cycle, there is at least twice the work outside the development, which we call integration, taking it to the production, industrialization of software, and integration not only between what the software is developed by OEM, but software developed by OEM, tier ones, semicon company, cloud companies. So there is a lot of work outside of the what they develop themselves also. So that's the reason we are very sure that our business model really is supportive to what OEMs want to achieve, and actually it is to make them successful.
Sticking with Mr. Patil, Mr. Pandit said how big the scope of this particular industry is, especially when it comes to auto and the auto tech that we are talking about. We know there are traditional IT firms as well, say the TCSs of the world, the Infosys of the world, and everything. Their focus is on, say, banking and financial services. Do you think that makes for it, when we talk about Indian IT services, we think BFSI? Do you think with the next decade coming in, do you think this auto tech, if I may call it, will go on and compete with the BFSI? I mean, they would want some, because if there's such a lucrative field, they would also want something from the space. Do you think this will become as lucrative as BFSI?
So let me say that you can never say that this is a space for us and nobody else will come in. I think we are here not because we are focused, but we are best in class. We innovate, we understand, as Mr. Pandit said, automotive better than other software company, etc. But there is opportunity for everyone. I think I'm sure there is a lot of cloud usage which is happening in the OEMs. On the IT side, of course, there is also transformation which is happening. So I'm sure that there is an opportunity for them as well. And as Mr. Pandit said, there is enough for having the opportunity. Just that we are very focused on two things. One is specifically inside the car technologies. That is one part. And the second is how these technologies will connect to the consumers of the or owners of the vehicle. So that part is what we are focusing.
You see, I don't think there is any other IT company which works with as many OEMs as we do. So what we are really bringing to the table is an extremely broad perspective about changes happening across the industry. I think that value is hard to beat for someone who is working with 20 verticals.
We talk about you are better than anybody else in the IT space when it comes to Autotech. There is actually a well-entrenched player, so to speak, in Tata Technologies. Why I mentioned Tata Technologies right now is because they're going for an IPO, as you're aware. You know that competition or that peer has always existed. In April, JP Morgan put out a report saying that they actually initiated coverage of your stock, and then they said that they have a downside that they were seeing underweight on your stock. And they cited the reason that because there is a new player coming in the form of Tata Technologies. So how do you see this competition coming in? Say, for example, from the perspective of market share, as well as from investor mind space as well.
See, our realization is that the customer does not want to look at whether you have an IPO or not. He doesn't want to look at how much cash is on your balance sheet. He wants to look at what value you bring to it. We have been competing for a long time. We have done quite well. I believe we'll continue to do well. The fact that they will have some mind share from the investors is good for them. We wish them well. But that doesn't in any way affect our standing with our customers. We have been a completely independent company. Our company does not make vehicles. Our group doesn't make vehicles. We work with far more number of auto OEMs than most other companies. I'm not talking about Tata Technologies per se. I think that brings value. We are very comfortable with that. More the merrier.
Yeah, absolutely. And in Europe, for example, there have been much larger companies in terms of just revenues and in the past. And we have gone into the new technology area quicker, faster, and we are very well entrenched to that. So, I think we have made our point.
And again, we are exclusive in auto. I don't think there is an Indian company which is exclusive in auto.
You said about your tie-ups with OEMs so far. In the last 1 year, you have struck two of your biggest deals so far with Renault as well as Honda. If you could give us some color on how those deals are progressing and what would be your next target in that sense, in terms of deal making in the auto space.
Our desire is to be the backbone for the auto industry in all their software requirements. We are extremely happy that companies like you mentioned put their faith into us. There have been companies before this also where we have announced the deals. All those deals have progressed well. Our intention is to ensure that the trust that they repose in us is justified. And we are happy things are moving in the right direction.
Actually, from our perspective, the 25 clients we talk about are the OEMs. This is, as Mr. Pandit mentioned, we want to be a trusted partner to them. And that is how the evolution of all our clients is happening or has happened. And in these two specific cases, there were, it was one time a large announcement. But basically, we are not in the business of deal making. We are in the business of making trusted partnerships.
Looking at a wider industry now, that's because you are also into other manufacturing, the other engineering and R&D services. Now you're focused on auto. Let's look at a wider industry right now. So they're saying that, say, for example, software people or companies involved in say, for example, making software for OTT platforms and etc. for other manufacturing. So this question is again coming down. So the topic is that if it's not essential, it is discretionary and it can be done away with. Do you think something of that sort may trickle down to your auto focus as well?
See, we believe that the work that we are doing for the industry is crucial for their survival. It's really crucial for their survival.
Do you think that this is essential, not discretionary?
No, this is absolutely not discretionary. It's absolutely critical for their survival. Can we imagine a car company a few years down the line which doesn't have electric vehicles? Can we imagine a company which will not have high connectivity? Can we imagine a company which will not have some kind of a driver assistance? Can we imagine a company which doesn't have onboard diagnostics or which is not into monetization of features that they're saying? You can't imagine. Those companies will not be in business. What that means is that the model of the industry is changing. And they want to, as I said earlier, they want to have multiple touch points with the customers, etc. There is no way that can be done without investments in software. So this is crucial to the industry. This is not discretionary. This is not something nice to have. This is something which is must to have. So we don't expect to see that. We watch very closely the investments of auto OEMs, their planned investments over the next few years. We are just scratching the surface. So we are truly not worried. And my father always used to say, there is always a room at the top. We want to be at the top. And I'm sure there will be plenty of room.
Also, do you see this industry becoming more service-oriented? Because now we have seen, for example, BMW saying, okay, you can get the heated seats for this much, a subscription-based model. So my question is on subscription-based model coming to auto sector. So a very funny thing, I found it very funny, that BMW putting in, say that, okay, you want ventilated seats, you want heated seats. Okay, this is the price that you have to pay. So do you think we'll move towards that kind?
Absolutely. Absolutely. As you mentioned earlier, selling of features. You see, and as I said earlier, what the industry, the automotive industry has realized is that till recently, they had a single contact with their customer. A customer will come and buy a car, and that's the end of that relationship. There is a lot of money left on the table, with the customer, where, if you have an ongoing relationship, the auto company can gain more. As I said earlier, the number of vehicles sold is flat. So you have to do something different. So it is going to be subscription-based. It is going to be feature-driven. It is going to be shared in all these areas. So which is really the exciting part of this industry. And to us, a very fulfilling part is that all those features are going to be driven by software.
So you see yourself in every aspect. So there's shared mobility, autonomous, green, all the facets. Okay. Finally, to question to both of you, a bit off the line. What are you driving right now?
I drive a Tata Nexon.
Okay. That's the EV?
The EV.
The EV. So what do you drive?
I drive Tata Nexon as well as another one European company.
No, but we are very deeply committed to a clean environment, and you see the work that we do with the automotive is also a reflection of the work that we do on sustainability in general. So when you look at our facility, you will find that the facility has been designed in such a way that we can use minimal light, we can use minimal air conditioning, we recycle all the water that we get. You see the trees around here, all of that is our commitment to sustainability. That's a core part.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.